Good evening. It's now 6 o'clock, and the April 7th meeting of the Dublin San Ramon Services District Board of Directors is called to order. Can I please have everyone rise for the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call?
Director Goel,
Present.
Director Duarte,
Here.
Director Von Heater Leopold,
Here.
Vice President Govindarao,
Here.
and President Halkett. Thank you.
Number 4, we have special announcements. Looks like we have a new employee introduction. Jonathan?
Jaden, if you want to. So it's my first meeting as a district employee, and I get to introduce our new finance director, Jaden Senga, who started 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, yeah. So Jaden is a seasoned finance executive with leadership experience across public transportation agencies, municipal government, and utilities. His background includes most recently serving as controller for the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority, where he oversaw a $640 million operating budget, a $12.5 billion capital plan, major treasury functions, long-range financial planning, and cross-departmental strategic initiatives. He previously led treasury and revenue operations for Samtrans, Caltrans, and the San Mateo County Transportation Authority, and served as a financial consultant for the City of Vancouver's public utilities. Earlier in his career, he also served as deputy CFO for the City of Stockton. His academic experience includes teaching finance courses as an adjunct professor, and he holds an MBA in analytical finance and a BS in finance and business administration. So we're really excited to have Jaden as part of the team. When he's not busy with his many professional accomplishments, I know he's informed me that he's a Warriors fan and follows the Warriors, and that he keeps busy with a 2-year-old daughter at home. So, Jaden, if there's anything you'd like to add, the floor is yours.
No, thank you, John, and good evening, members of the board. It's hard to follow after introduction like that, but I'm very happy to be here as the director of finance for DSRSD, leading an incredible group of people. 2 of them are here. Like John said, I served as the controller for VTA for 3 years. I've been in public finance for over 10 years, City of Stockton as deputy chief financial officer. So very happy to be here. Look forward to working with the board, with the executive team and the staff, and all things finance. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Welcome, Jaden. We're really excited to have you, join DSRSD, and it looks like you're rooting for the right team as well. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Anybody else have any comments?
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, so number 5, public comment. At this time, those in the audience are encouraged to address the board on any item of interest that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and not already included on tonight's agenda. Comments should not exceed 5 minutes. Are there any speaker cards for members of the public?
No speaker cards.
Thank you. Number 6, agenda management.
No recommended changes.
Great, thank you, Jan. Number 7, consent calendar. Matters listed under this item are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member of the board or the public prior to the time the board votes on the motion to adopt. Is there a motion to approve the items under the consent calendar?
Also move.
Move, and then do a second. Oh, you move? Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion from Director Duarte and seconded by Director Von Heater Leopold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? So the motion carries 4 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions. Number 8, board business. 8A, we will receive a presentation on the calendar year 2025 public affairs activities and outreach efforts. Thank you.
Good evening, Vice President Govindarao, members of the board. My name is Erin Steffen. I'm the Public Affairs Program Administrator for DSRSD, and I'm before you this evening to provide an update on district outreach activities that took place over calendar year 2025. The 2026-2030 strategic plan establishes customer service and community engagement as a district goal and seeks to foster confidence and to build trust in district services through communications, community engagement, education, and partnership efforts. In addition to the presentation this evening, efforts to reach this strategic plan goal are reported back to the district on a quarterly basis in the form of an outreach report, the most recent of which was delivered in the February 17th board agenda. There it goes. So this evening, we will be providing an overview of the outreach activities from calendar year 2025. We'll also be presenting an overview of the website redesign project that was recently completed, and we'll provide a brief summary of anticipated outreach activities for calendar year 2026. Written and visual communications help the district to connect with its customers about services, priorities, initiatives. We use a variety of communications tools to reinforce our presence in the community, to distribute targeted or ongoing messaging, and to build relationships with DSRSD customers. One example, the Pipeline e-newsletter goes out each month to DSRSD recipients, approximately 13,200 recipients for that, and we see an open rate of 66% on average, which is far above the industry average of 43%. Last year, our website saw 262,000 visits as well. And one highlight that I would like to share from 2025 was the utility billing conversion campaign. And our utility billing conversion, that included a new payment portal, a new customer account number structure, and a redesigned bill. And so this campaign sought to reduce confusion for our customers, as was evidenced by the number of calls that customer service would receive and emails on that topic. To help to inform our customers, we created an informational video, a bill insert, newsletter articles, social media posts, web page content, and more. As a result, the newsletter edition that featured the announcement for this conversion saw the highest open rate for the year at 78%. We saw a huge spike in click-throughs, over 1,500 views of our video, which is quite high for our videos. And anecdotally from customer service, there was no reportable increase in calls or emails during the cycle that the changes took effect. Diving a little bit deeper into the social media presence for the district's social media seeks to inform, connect, and engage with our constituents. Now, as you can see on the screen, we use a variety of social media platforms to reach different audiences and to convey different types of content. In calendar year 2025, the district posted a total of 382 times across all of our social media platforms. One highlight I'd like to share from 2025 is an enhanced presence on the LinkedIn social media platform. The district sought to foster professional relationships and partnerships, as well as to increase the number of qualified applicants for DSRSD positions in this effort. We saw our post frequency go from maybe a dozen a year to several each month, and these posts focused on staff and agency achievements and awards, external recruitments, and conference presentations. Some of the results of that effort, we saw our number of followers on LinkedIn go from 173 to 745. And for recruitment, our applicant reported use of LinkedIn as a referral went from 3.3%, or our seventh largest source in the previous calendar year, to 9.5%, or now our third largest source of referrals for qualified applicants. DSRSD participates in events throughout the year, which brings the district's key messages to our customers and helps us to build our relationships out in the community. In 2025, DSRSD participated in 17 different community events and reached an estimated audience of approximately 32,000 individuals. These outreach events took the shape of science fairs in both counties, STEM events at schools throughout the service area, community events such as St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin and San Ramon Truck Time, guest speaker roles, support for the Zone 7 water agencies in classroom water education classes that are targeting elementary and middle school students. Tours continue to be a popular way to educate and inform the youth customers and industry professionals about DSRSD. On the topic of tours, I would say that our average Survey response was 4.9 stars out of a total of 5 stars, so we're getting high ratings there. And one highlight I'd like to share from 2025 was an enhanced presence at Career Day fairs throughout our service area. So these Career Day events help our K through 12 students to make a connection between their areas of interest and their academic passions and the careers that are available in the water wastewater industry. To accomplish this, district staff from across all of our agency would participate in these events to share their career journey, to bring tactile examples of their day-to-day work, and to answer questions for students, as well as to promote professional association scholarships that DSRSD supports through AQUA and CASA. DSRC participated in 2 career fairs in 2025, and we already participated in one in 2026 as well. Turning to partnerships, the district maintains a number of partnerships in order to amplify key messages and to pool collective resources towards common goals and messages. There are 2 highlights I'd like to share from 2025, the first of which is the Early Firefighter exhibit that took place with the Dublin Historical Society and the City of Dublin. This exhibit featured DSRSD in our early firefighting services as DSRSD and also as Valley Community Services District. The district participated in this event in order to enhance our brand visibility and also to reinforce the message of our long-standing presence here within the DSRSD service area. In order to accomplish this, the district worked closely with the Dublin City Historian. We provided historical material and interviews from past DSRSD employees for the exhibit, and those were incorporated into the exhibit, which took place from August 2025 to February 2026 at Dublin Heritage Park and Museums. I do also want to give a special shout out to Board Member Von Heater Leopold, who was also recognized for her individual contributions to the exhibit. So thank you for that. The second partnership event that I wanted to feature for this year is the Regional Tri-Valley Water Conservation Art Contest. So this regional contest promoted water conservation and drought-tolerant landscaping awareness through a K-12 art contest. The district conducted outreach to all of our public and private schools within the DSRSD service area, as well as the professional art classes that can be found throughout the area. And we used traditional outreach campaign methods, but were amplified across the Tri-Valley water retailers, so including Zone 7, the City of Pleasanton, the City of Livermore, and Cal Water. As a result, there were approximately 240 submissions to this multimedia art contest, and over 100 of those came from the DSRSD service area. Over 1,600 votes were cast online to determine the winner, and artwork by DSRSD finalists was on display at the Wave in Dublin during the busy summer swimming season. So we were excited to show off their great artwork. So now I'd like to turn things over to Natalie Stitch, our Public Affairs Program Specialist, who was the architect behind the redesign for the DSRSD website. And so I am really looking forward to her sharing a little more information about that.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Erin. Good evening, members of the board. As she mentioned, I'm Natalie Stitch, Public Affairs Specialist. And one of the biggest achievements that Public Affairs accomplished during 2025 was a complete redesign of the district website. Our previous website was more than a decade old and struggled with meeting the needs of today's technology standards, customer expectations, and upcoming accessibility requirements. So this redesign was not just cosmetic, it was essential to maintaining a high level of customer service and transparency. So tonight we will walk you through how we approached this project, a few key improvements that came about with this redesign, and future updates that we have planned. The new website officially launched on February 3rd after more than a year of coordinated effort across the entire district. The effort was led by Public Affairs and IT, but dozens of staff contributed to this project through content review, testing, and training. In front of you is a simplified project timeline leading up to that launch. So we began in the pre-work phase with extensive research to identify what should be prioritized in this redesign. This research included department focus groups, analysis of Google Analytics data, and a full evaluation of what was and wasn't working with our old website. Neighboring water and wastewater agencies were also surveyed to gather information about the effectiveness of their own websites and to see what features worked for them. From there, staff reviewed more than 200 web pages and worked with the district's website developer, Granicus, to develop a cleaner, data-informed navigation structure. By late summer, design and development was underway. Content was migrated from the old site to the new, layouts were designed, and pages were restructured. Finally, by December, staff members had completed their required training, which ranged anywhere from 2 to 12 hours, depending on their role with the website. This training ensured that they were prepared to edit and maintain the site after launch. After the initial research stage was complete, the project team established 4 clear goals for what we wanted to accomplish with this redesign. Our first goal was to reorganize and revamp content so users could find information more easily. Our second goal was to improve the mobile experience because users are increasingly using their phones and tablets to access the DSRSD website. Our third goal was to modernize the design to make the site cleaner, simpler, and a little bit less text-heavy. And finally, our fourth goal, which is a very important one, was that we wanted to make sure that the redesigned website was able to meet level AA accessibility standards. So now we'll dive into why these goals were chosen and how the final website delivers on all 4 objectives. Revamping and reorganizing content was one of our main priorities because often websites become bloated with unnecessary pages and outdated information as the years go by. The more pages there are on our website, the harder it is for users to find what they're looking for. So we started the reorganization process by simplifying the site's navigation, reducing the main menu from 8 options down to 4. Then content was reorganized by audience. Who is the type of person who's coming to our website for information? So our audience group included things like residents, commercial customers, and contractors. So by grouping that information by who the person was, we're able to have them go straight to their section of the website and find all the information that is specifically relevant to them. After we decided where each page belonged in the navigation structure, they all needed to be reviewed. Reviewing and updated pages was a team effort involving 20 staff members from across the district. Because, as I said before, there was over 200 pages to take a look at. But through this process, we identified around 50 web pages that were no longer needed, so we were able to deactivate them and clean up the site a little bit more. Improving the mobile experience was one of our main project goals because currently about 1/3 of our website visitors are accessing our website through a phone or a tablet. And we know that this number is only going to grow in the future. The problem was the old website was very difficult to navigate on a cell phone. So the new website, we're happy to say, is fully responsive, which means that it automatically adjusts to any screen size. From a cell phone all the way up to a widescreen monitor. This makes information easier to read and ensures that the users have a consistent, accessible experience no matter how they access our website. Website design evolves quickly, so unfortunately that means it doesn't take very long for a website to appear outdated. To give our website a more modern look, we worked with Granicus to create a clean layout with a scaled down color palette that uses images and icons to guide users to the right information. The design of the district's homepage is also now data-driven. Using analytics, we prioritized valuable homepage real estate to the content that users click on the most. Staff also have the ability to change these homepage options if the popularity of pages changes over time. Since the search function on our new website platform is significantly better than it was on our old website, we decided to feature the search bar prominently in the homepage design. Staff are also now able to run reports showing what users type into that search bar and see if the user search was successful in finding a page, which is very helpful data to ensure that our website is easy to use. So all of these improvements make it so that the website is not just nicer to look at, it's also easier to use. Government websites are required to meet certain standards so that people with vision, cognitive, hearing, or mobility impairments can still access information through them. In 2024, the Federal Department of Justice updated its regulations on digital accessibility. And one part of these regulations states that state and local government agency websites need to meet Web Content Accessibility Guidelines version 2.1 level AA. Now, these standards, they're very long, they're very comprehensive, but the thing to note is that DSRSD's old website was only designed to meet level A standards. So improving accessibility needed to be a main priority for this project. We are happy to report that the new district website was designed to meet those AA standards, and it also has an integrated accessibility scanner so that as new content is added to the website, it is double checked to see if it still meets those AA standards before allowing a staff member to publish it. So this will ensure that the website will continue to remain compliant as the years go by. The level AA compliance deadline for special districts is April 26th, 2027. So DSRSD has met its website accessibility requirements more than a year in advance. In summary, this redesign is more than just a visual update. It is a meaningful improvement in how we connect with our users. We've created a cleaner, more intuitive, and more accessible experience, making it easier for people to find what they need, gain a greater understanding of what we do, and build trust in our agency. Now that we've reviewed what Public Affairs has accomplished in 2025, it's time to take a look ahead at 2026. As always, Public Affairs will focus on strengthening public awareness of the district's services, initiatives, and systems. So now we'll show you a few highlights on what our division will work on in the upcoming year. It's the website again. Although the redesign is complete, a website is never truly finished. So with this new structure in place, we're better equipped to adapt, grow, and continue improving our site going forward. So in the next few months, especially because this website is only 2 months old, we are going to continue gathering data and user feedback on the website to guide future updates throughout the year. Additionally, we are going to explore expanding our use of open forms. Open forms is a feature that came along with the website content software that the new website is built on. And open forms allows staff to build digital forms. Most recently, we used open forms to build the 2026 Citizens Water Academy application. And so in the future, we'll evaluate whether there are other PDF processes that we can convert into a digital form using this platform. This year, we also plan to develop new content for the website. Some pages that are currently in our queue include a water pressure FAQs page, a hub for CIP project information, and a page dedicated to what it's like working for DSRSD. Finally, we plan to produce a few short how-to videos for staff to demonstrate best practices as they edit our website. This will allow us to maintain continuity throughout the website, even though there are different sections of the website that is maintained by different staff members. And now I'll pass it back to Erin to explain the other projects we have planned for this year.
Thank you, Natalie. So already pretty busy for 2026. Turning to education and community outreach, First up, we are excited for the Biennial Citizens Water Academy to take place this year. This program takes place over every other year, and this year will be over 4 Thursday evenings in May and feature live demonstrations, classroom learning, a tour of the wastewater treatment plant, and more. The program is for 40 participants, and new this year are a select number of spaces that have been reserved for high school students to participate in our program. Registration closed at the end of March after a significant promotional push. We saw over 60 applicants, and so we're currently going through the vetting process, and we're announcing to those who are participating in the program on a first come, first served basis. Other activities taking place in 2026 include enhancements to our wastewater treatment plant tours. We're looking to install permanent signage that's going to have graphic designs and reinforce key messages that are shared throughout the talking points during the wastewater treatment plant tour. We're also looking to leverage our regional partnerships to deliver key educational messages to our customers and to the community. Some of these important topics include nutrients, PFAS, ongoing and upcoming critical infrastructure improvements, water supply opportunities, droughts, the list goes on and on. One promotional opportunity that you see on the screen here was a promotional video to celebrate the smart irrigation collaboration between Zone 7 Water Agency, the City of Dublin, and DSRSD. So this video was shot a little bit earlier in 2026, and it's scheduled to come out later this month, and you may see a board member being represented there. Turning to communications, the district anticipates seeing a lot of effort in communications to build up campaigns for regulatory compliance, making water conservation as a way of life, cross-connection control, backflow prevention, pollution prevention, so the fog and wipes entering our wastewater collection systems, lead and copper rule, non-functional turf ban. There's a lot of regulations to pick from there, and so we anticipate a significant amount of effort. We're also going to be looking to continue to reinforce and enhance upon our brand visibility and our brand identity throughout the community, and to conduct outreach on DSRSD projects that are affecting customers as they are coming online. Finally, we're looking to update information and develop new resources around emergency preparedness. So for our urgent and emergency communications, we want to make sure that we're standing ready in the event of a crisis or an emergency that takes place. Finally, I do want to offer gratitude to the board for your support and your strategic guidance to district staff as we endeavor to engage, inform, and to educate our agency's constituents and to really tell DSRSD's story. So thank you. And this concludes our presentation. Natalie and I are happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Hey, thank you, Erin. Thank you, Natalie, for a great presentation. Before I entertain comments from the board, do we have any public comments? See any public comments? Any written comments?
No speaker cards.
Great. So I will start to my right. Director Duarte.
Well, first of all, if there's anything I like, it's a great plan, and the way your team has approached this is just outstanding. And the metrics that you had identified as to measure your success and completion dates. I'm not surprised at the quality of this report. My congratulations and thanks on a job well done.
Thank you. Again, I can't echo it better than that. Great presentation. Well done. And the best part I like is when teamwork really comes to the forefront. And that's, for me, it's what also exhibits positive morale and great leadership within an organization. So thank you for that, because I think the community will feel that as well. That positive energy will continue to go on. The other thing that, is super important, I remember when I first joined here on this water agency, we were a little trailing. And I can really see the drastic difference underneath your leadership, Erin, and underneath our general manager's leadership. It's really, really become great. I'm almost like I got to stretch to find something to give you feedback on. So I will give one just to make sure we're all even.
Always.
You don't want about too pumped up, okay? But a couple of things. I think I, I, I I remember when I joined this agency and the mantra was the little engine that could. I think the mantra is going to need to change. It's the little engine that did. And from a statistics standpoint, in the Bay Area, from water agencies and other governmental agencies, how many are already on the 2.1 standard?
There's a lot that are underway right now, I can tell you. that.
Underway, but not delivered.
I could come back with a real number for you, but
It's
I know
okay.
everyone's working on this right as we speak.
The point being is we're the small engine that did, and we're ahead of the pack. And that's what's really the positive energy about this. And so I'm really just sharing in the excitement that I'm really proud to be part of this organization that took that and championed it across. The wastewater treatment and education wayfinding, I really believe that is the mantra that should be highlighted. I know when we were on one of our conferences, I forget what it was, the water reuse, not water reuse,
WEFTEC?
WEFTEC. No, SoCal. Was it
Water
WEFTEC?
reuse.
Water reuse. Okay, I was right the first time. And one of the things that they were really doing was pitching their campaign about the water reuse and how it was informative, and how when people would come in, it was almost like an exhibit. And it was the touch points that were the ones that they were trying to send those critical messages home that resonated. And that's where people magnified to. So I really like that idea. Don't be surprised. I already called it educational wayfinding. That's my little airport kick inside of there. We call everything wayfinding. So, and then I really like the fact that your core foundation, your focus is education and transparency are key, right? We're out there, we're communicating, we're engaging. So for the one feedback, if you click on going to the agenda, not many people in the public do it, but you click on going to the agenda, get to the agenda, it kind of disconnects from our website, and you click the home, it doesn't go back. So just the one constructive criticism, that's just the way, so I can bring you guys back down to norm after the hype. But great work. Keep it up. Looking forward to more. I'm super energized. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Von Heater.
I'm excited. I'm pleased. Some of you know that I have been pushing for 20 years for our public outreach to be greater than it has been, and we've struggled with that in terms of having someone that wanted to step up and do it and had the enthusiasm to do it. I just think it's been great. People know who we are now. There was a time when you could say DSRSD and they'd go, "What? Who? What's that?" Remember the bill you write your check to? So I'm very pleased. Great report. I'm blown away by the increases in all of the, what are they called? I forget what we called them last time, and I didn't know what it was. When somebody actually ticks on it, impressions. There we go. I mean, I'm just blown away at the increase. I think it's wonderful. I love it. Thank you both.
It's kind of interesting. I'm in this position where I usually don't go last, so everyone said a lot of the comments I was going to say, but but I did have a few things to mention, and you all know this has always been a passion of mine since I came on with public outreach and the efforts you've been doing, and it's just tremendous on what we've been doing here at DSRC. So definitely huge kudos to all of you and how we're connecting with the community, and I think that's super impressive on what we're trying to do. And just like Director Von Heater Leopold mentioned, how people are now aware of who DSRSD is, and I think the more we keep creating that awareness, it's just going to be better for all of us. I did, and just interesting things like it was on LinkedIn when our finance director was, announced, and so it was great. I mean, this kind of information was great. I mean, I saw it and I was like, hey, this is wonderful. Just seeing this information. I forgot to like it, but I will do that. I will
There's
do
still
that.
time.
Yeah, I will do that. So
That's an impression.
yeah, that's my impression. Sorry. Yeah, the impression that
Yeah.
Director Von Heater Leopold was discussing. But again, like the science fairs that we're doing and the STEM, I mean, that's great. Question, I know, kind of mentioned this. A lot of these are kind of geared on in Dublin. Have we done stuff on the with the SRVSD? I know the one that I've been involved with in the past. Have we made connections with them?
We haven't connected on that specific science fair. We tend to want to prioritize the countywide science fairs
Got
because those are a collaborative partnership with the other wastewater and water agencies within those two respective counties. I do know that there are three different projects from the Contra Costa County and one from Alameda County that will be coming to the board in May.
Okay.
That were recognized through our special award that is presented on excellence in water, recycled water, and wastewater research. And so we are conducting an equitable outreach each year. One of the things that I'm looking to do is to continue to reinforce our messaging with the annual circular to go out to all of the administrators throughout both the SRV USD service area as well as the DUSD service area that are applicable to DSRSD.
Okay.
And so to reinforce some of that, we also made sure, I mentioned for the Citizens Water Academy, it was really important that we had an equitable representation across our San Ramon and Dublin schools. And so we reached out to all public and private schools and promoted it heavily that way. But we made sure that we had the same number of spots reserved for students coming from San Ramon Valley Unified, as well as the same number of students for Dublin Unified.
Great. Yeah, and I think the reason the reason I'm mentioning that is because I think a lot of times the folks in the Doherty Valley and the Gale Ranch area think their water comes still from, they're not sure where it comes from. Like they think it may still come from East Bay mud. So I think by getting out there, doing more of the outreach and connecting with that community will, I think, enhance, those are the awareness. So I think that's an area that we may want to look at. One thing you just mentioned that just kind of thought about is when we're looking at the Citizens Academy, do we have kind of I know you're still going through the vetting process. Do we have sort of a representation of what percentage of folks are coming from each of the districts, the 5 districts that we have? I mean, from the folks in the Citizens Academy. I'm just curious if we have that breakdown.
Well, I will defer that answer to our board secretary, who I know tracks those things, but I do know that that is something that is tracked and I believe can be reported back based on district representation. I can't say specific numbers, but I do know that all the districts are represented in those that applied. So I wouldn't necessarily say it overly subscribes to one specific district, but again, I don't have those hard numbers, and we may need to report back to you if you want those numbers specifically.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be great if you could report back on those. I think those are all the comments and questions. There was one last thing on the. You had mentioned, which is it's pretty astounding to hear, like 50 pages were deactivated from your website, and just curious, how often are we reevaluating that to see, based on usage, or do we need to maybe potentially deactivate a few more other pages or add in more pages based on comments? So just wondering how. I'm sure that's an evolving process, but do we have sort of a time frame on, like, we're looking at this periodically and reassessing this every 3 months, 6 months, yearly?
But at other agencies that I've worked for, typically I would do like an annual check of all the website content. Since there tends to be a lot, it tends to be chunked out by quarter in terms of department by department. And so for 2026, there's still a lot of content that we're working to build out with staff. So probably the review is not going to happen until 2027. And then I would advocate to keep that going just to make sure there's no broken links, nothing that's out of date.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the board? Well, great job, and thank you so much for this wonderful presentation, Aaron and Natalie. Appreciate it. All right, so moving on to number 9, board member items. So 9A1, Joint Power Authority and Committee Reports. Looks like I don't think we had any this time. 9A2, submittal written reports for days of service events attended by directors. Sounds like Director Von Heater Leopold, you have some? You have some?
Yes. Yesterday was the Alameda County Special District's executive board meeting. We reviewed the annual dinner and decided that we're probably going to continue meeting there, even though we have been looking for a less expensive place. We just can't match the location with the parking so easy and the choices they give us on the menu. We can't find anybody that even comes close. So we're probably going to stay there for at least next year. There's a joint meeting July 8th. We don't know who and where yet. Last year was us, so next year or this year should be Contra Costa County's turn. Excuse me. And then on September 9th, Ora Loma is going to host a dinner meeting from 5 to 7 with a sunset tour. I'm not sure what we're going to see at sunset, but that ought to be interesting. We've never done that time of day before. The next thing was chapter business, which is kind of a biggie. All of the officers' terms are up. Roland's appointed a nominating committee, so if you're interested in running for any of the offices, you can. I'm going to need a resolution for the next board meeting, please. I'm stepping down as treasurer. However, I'd like to have one of the at-large positions, so that's the office I'd run for. We worked a little bit on the bylaws. It seems like every time we turn around, we're changing what we think ought to be in them. But, since we're not a formal nonprofit, we don't have to send them to the Secretary of State, thank heaven. We can just change them. We also had a long discussion, and this has been going on forever, about whether or not we want commercial vendors to make presentations and to sell their services. This is something that's gone on forever between CASA and CSDA. If you've been to a CSDA conference, they have a whole room twice as big as the meeting room for the vendors, whereas CASA doesn't allow vendors. So we're having the same problem at ACSD, and we can't seem to come to a conclusion. The last issue we talked about was the budget. Finally, all of our dues has been collected. The budget really hasn't much changed in things we expect to do. We're not going to raise dues. Fortunately, we were able to get $500 each from our partner members to help subsidize dinner, because we charged $75, but dinner was actually $92 per person. So that's it.
Great. Thank you. Any other reports from any other members of Director Duarte?
On the March 26th, I attended the Contra Costa SDA meeting and the dinner. And, it was minimal business. There was the usual networking before dinner. Then there was a special acknowledgement for and recognition for Mike McGill from East Bay Mud for his over 20 years or
more than 20. He's got more years than I do.
Service to CSDA and LAFCO. So
yes,
he got a little plaque and a standing ovation. Colleen, our legislative analyst, lobbyist, made an update on Sacramento, and then after dinner we had a talk by Redmond Red Ramos, an ex-Navy corpsman that served with the Marines for 2 tours in Afghanistan. He was a contestant on the Great Race, a finalist.
Wow.
And it was an illustration and inspiration because he lost his left foot to an IED, and he related how he used that to drive himself and lift himself up and compete to the point where he's competed in that competition, and he runs track. He does everything. So very nice meeting, good dinner, Pleasant Hill Community Center.
Great.
I have one more thing. Go ahead. I don't recall if I brought this, but Aaron mentioned that I turned over a couple of my personal items for the fire display. This is one of them. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this. Supposedly, this is one of two that still exist. So for me, it's gold. It covered the 37 years that DSRSD was involved in fire suppression here in Dublin and San Ramon. And I was fortunate enough to serve as the first president on the Doherty Regional Fire Authority, which was a JPA between San Ramon and Dublin. So anybody like to look at it, some of the pictures are really cool, the old fire trucks. Anyway, I wanted to mention it to anybody who would like to look through that. That's it. Thank you.
Director Gould?
Yep. And I think the ACSD dinner was since our
Oh,
last
yes,
meeting,
you're right.
All
March
right.
25th.
I was starting to question myself because I was like,
It's been
I
so
know
long.
I'm getting young, but so that was a good dinner as always. But more importantly was our guest speaker was Senator Wahab, and it kind of followed in suit with earlier in the day we had the state of the city from city of Pleasanton, and I'll tell you what, his closing by far was the most phenomenal.
Yeah.
He had pin drop silence throughout. I think, Aaron, you were there with me for the State of the City. But if you get a chance, go on there and check out the video. Words cannot express that last 5 minutes. Okay, that was amazing. But for ACSD, she kind of reviewed a lot about where we are as an organization or an area. So that she reviewed a little bit about the state budget crisis, and the three areas that she kind of highlight were healthcare, disability services, and education are all being impacted. She also talked about legislative threats. Two of them that were on the top were the high-speed rail, and then the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association ballot measure that's going to come in November. So things to keep an eye on. She did criticize PG&E, as many others are doing right now. Talked a little bit about housing and homelessness, the healthcare system strain, and tax policy gridlock. So those are a couple of the highlights.
She was very impressive. I was blown away. And the following week, I went to the Chamber Economic Development Committee meeting, and she spoke again. She really seems knowledgeable about the internal affairs of the state, which to most of us seems foreign sometimes. But she seemed to be right on top of things. I was very impressed with her.
That's all I got.
Great. All right, so now we will move on to 9A3. Request new agenda items to be placed on a future board or committee agenda. Does anyone have any items to add to a future agenda? Sounds like Director Juanita Leopold, you had something? No? Okay. Anyone else? No? All right, so we'll move on to 9B, staff reports.
No additional updates this evening.
All right. Well, now we will go to number 10, which is closed session. And we are going to be in the GM conference room as directed by Jan.
If the board could mute their mics, that would
Thank
be
you.
fantastic.
Yeah, please mute your mics.
10 over.
All right, the board meeting is back in open session. The closed session has included. There was no reportable action items in closed session. And I have number 12. The meeting is adjourned at 7:50 p.m. Have a wonderful evening.